children to the science lecture, science video lecture, where we are studying lesson number 4, nutrition. Okay, now today we are going to study the topic nutrition in animals. Now children, nutrition in animals basically involve the steps, that is first step ingestion, second step digestion, third step absorption, fourth step assimilation, and fifth step egestion. Now let us understand what is the meaning of each step. First of all, you know the necessity of nutrition to all the living world, right? It is necessary to carry out different activities in the body. Also the food that we eat, it doesn't reach to our body in the same state. The state changes and it is absorbed in blood, and through blood the energy is supplied to all the parts of the body. So first step is ingestion. Ingestion means the food that is taken in through the mouth. Food is taken into the body. Okay. Then digestion. Digestion means whatever food we have eaten, that is to be converted into simple soluble forms. Then absorption. Absorption means whatever nutrients are soluble in the food are given to the blood, that is they are transferred to the blood. Assimilation, utilization of absorbed food by cells and tissues for energy production, growth and repair. And egestion means removal of waste product from the body, waste and undigested part of the food that is not useful to our body is given out through the process of egestion. Now let us learn, children, types of nutrition in animals. First one is holozoic nutrition. For example, amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular animal. Unicellular animals, they do not have different parts. They have only one cell to do all the life processes activities. So amoeba does not have any organs like hand, mouth, etc. anything. No. The irregular shape of amoeba, as soon as amoeba comes to know about its prey, it expands its body, that expanded part is called pseudopodia, and through pseudopodia it takes in the prey and digestion takes place. So unicellular animals, all the steps occur within the unicellular body. Okay. Then insects, small insects like butterflies, they have proboscis, a tube-like structure. Mosquitoes, butterflies, they have a tube-like structure called proboscis, through which they can suck the nectar from the flower. They depend on nectar in the flower for their food, and mosquitoes, they suck the blood from the human body. So for sucking purpose, they have tube-like structure called proboscis. Okay. Next type of nutrition is, now according to the type of food eaten, animals are classified as herbivorous. Herbivorous means, you know, the animals, those who are dependent only on plants for their food. So they are said to be herbivorous. Then carnivorous. Animals that depend on other animals for their food are said to be carnivores. Now herbivorous examples, you know, goat, cow, all these animals are herbivorous, whereas carnivorous animals are lion, tiger, cheetah, all those. Then omnivorous. Animals that obtain their food from plants and animals, both are called omnivorous. For example, monkey, human beings are also omnivorous. Then some of them are scavengers. Some organisms around us perform the function of cleaning and conserving the environment by very act of feeding themselves. So they are said to be scavengers or decomposers. Now scavengers obtain their food from dead body of animals, for example vulture, crow, etc. Means the animal which has died, their parts they eat, they are said to be scavengers. Then what are decomposers? Decomposers are some microbes which obtain their food by decomposing the dead bodies of organisms and other materials. Means they decompose the body, and while decomposing they get their food, and they are nothing but very small microbes which we cannot see through our naked eyes. Okay. Second type of nutrition is saprozoic nutrition. Now saprozoic nutrition, mostly some insects, unicellular animals obtain nutrients by absorbing liquid organic material from the dead body of other animals or from environment. Means they are dependent on the liquid things which are available in the environment, for example house flies, ants, etc. Then parasitic type of nutrition. Now in this parasitic type of nutrition, some animals depend on the animals for their food, other animals. They obtain the food only from the animals on whom they are dependent. Means they are dependent only on one animal and from them only they take the food, and they are said to be parasitic nutrition. Now some animals on the body surface of the other animal obtain their food by sucking their blood. They are called ectoparasitic nutrition. And such animals are called ectoparasites. For example, loose, bedbug, tick, etc. Means some animals, they live on the upper surface of the body of the animal. For example, lice are found in the hairs of girls. So those animals are said to be ectoparasitic. They suck the blood from the body, human body, and they live. So they are said to be ectoparasites since they are on the outer surface of the body. Then some animals like tapeworm and roundworms live inside the body of other animals and obtain their food. This is called endoparasitic nutrition, and these animals are known as endoparasites. You must be knowing, children, some children are having the problem of worms in their stomach. Now what are these worms? These worms are nothing but tapeworms and roundworms. They are present in the stomach and they get food from inside the body. Okay. And so since they are living inside the body, human body, they are said to be endoparasite. And the nutrition is said to be endoparasitic nutrition. So by these children we have completed lesson number 4, explanation. Okay. So notes are given in your online lecture. You can complete the notes. Okay. Now we will move on to lesson number 7, that is food safety. Lesson number 5, food safety. Now, let us study about food safety. Whatever food we eat, it must be safe for us. Why? Because all the constituents of food like carbohydrate, fats, vitamins, proteins, minerals, fiber, water are all necessary for proper growth of the body. And we get all these things from the food materials like rice, wheat, vegetables, ghee, oil, fruits, egg, etc. So all these food materials, if they are safe, then only we will be able to have a good health. Then some factors are responsible for food spoilage. Children, when from market we are bringing some food, you see they are damaged, they are been rotten, or they are been little bit pressed, or some foul smell is coming from it. All these are the food spoilages taking place. Now there are various factors of food spoilage. What are the different factors? Let us see. The very first food spoil. How do you come the food is spoiled? By the change of color, by the foul smell, taste is different. So these things tell us that the food is spoiled. So there are various methods by which the food gets spoiled. The first we can understand is that wrong handling of the food materials. If the food materials are not handled properly while transportation or while loading, unloading, then the food gets spoiled. Food materials get spoiled. Now in the 4 pictures which are shown in your textbook, first picture you can see the grains are eaten by mice. so that is got spoiled. Then uh, vendor is selling some eatables in open, so flies come on, sit on that open ready-made food, and that only if we eat we may fall ill. The vegetable seller woman, she is selling vegetables, but the surrounding of her is very much unclean, so vegetables also become unclean. Then some sacks are there which in D, which are torn, and all the food materials are lying down on the soil. So soil gets mixed in it, and so the food is spoiled. So these are the various factors which are responsible for food wastage. Also, some microorganisms, they act on the food which are present in air, water or soil. So the food material gets contaminated. Okay. Now food wastage are of two types. One is qualitative wastage of food, another is quantitative wastage of food. Qualitative wastage of food means wrong methods of farming like hand sowing of seeds, inadequate threshing, improper storage, wrong method of distribution are some reason of qualitative wastage. Means while sowing the seed only with the hand they are sowing, so properly the seeds are not sown, or threshing is not done properly, not cleaning properly, or transportation is not done properly. So all these factors leads to the qualitative wastage of food. Second is quantitative wastage of food. Quantitative wastage of food means, children, during large gatherings like marriage function, birthday functions, all these functions we prepare food on a large quantity. Sometimes a very large quantity of food is remained after all the guests have eaten up the food. So this is nothing but the quantitative wastage of food. Or some people, they take extra food in their plate and they just leave it and they do not eat, so, throw it. So that is nothing but quantitative wastage of food. Or also fruits like grapes, mangoes, they get ripen very quickly. So transportation timing calculation, if it is wrong, and if there is delay in between the transportation, these grapes, they start getting spoiled. So this is said to be quantitative wastage of food. Now what you can do to prevent food wastage and spoilage? Very important points, children. Serve yourself only as much you can eat. Means how much food you can eat, take it inside your body, that much only you have to serve in your plate. Then avoid overcooking of food. Let the food is going on cooking for a longer period of time, that is also wastage. Avoid throwing away leftover food, reuse it in proper way. So whatever food is left, next time if it is left in the lunch, use it in dinner in a proper manner, so that you also do not fall ill. Buy only as much grain, vegetables, fruits, etc. as you need. Avoid the temptation of making excessive purchases. Means when you go to market, if anything is very cheap, we take it in a large quantity and keep it at home. So at home also wastage takes place. So you have to avoid this temptation. How much is needed in our home, that much only you have to purchase. Store grains and other perishable foodstuffs like vegetables, fruits, milk, etc. using proper method. All these things you should keep it in proper way so that they do not get wasted. Check the expiry date of the bottled, canned, packed food and use within that time. Very important. Any cooked food or any ready-made food, if you are taking, check its expiry date on the packet or on the can placed. Eat all the food that you have served yourself. Whatever food you have served in the plate, you have to eat it completely. Now children, we will learn the next part of the lesson in our next lecture. Be safe at home. Thank you.